Hello everyone, welcome to another Monday live stream. My name is Shane Olson and today we're going to be continuing working on this awesome design by my good friend Joshua Black. And yeah, I worked on it a little bit off screen or off camera, I guess. So we're going to keep it going. All right, so welcome. Let's keep it going. Hey, what's up, Mark? How are you? Okay. How's the volume level and all that? Hey, Brad. How are you? Let's see here. I think I'm going to make this this neck thing. Hey, Neil. Here, MRM. I can't talk today. Audio's good, thanks. Okay. Yeah, like I said, I was working on this a little bit off camera, trying to get out of the valley of the suck a little bit. I think she's getting there. All right. I'm gonna add just a little bit of collarbone here. So what are you guys up to? What's good? All right. A little bit of a bump here. I don't know if what I have left on her is going to last a full 2 hours, but we're going to see. You moved to a new apartment. That's always fun, not fun. Depending, you know. Moving is never fun, but going to a new place is it's got its fun times. From Brazil. Hello. Welcome. Thank you. Hey, Julie. Julie, I need to talk to you soon. I've got the acceleration program is up and going again. I just worked on that this weekend. I got a new community space all set up and it's going to be awesome. I can't wait. So, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, I do an acceleration program, which is basically a mentorship, and it is weekly feedback on your art. So, hey, Tessa, how are you? So if you're interested in getting feedback, feel free to reach out to me. My email is shane.olson, that's O-L-S-O-N, at 3dcharacterworkshop.com. I'd be happy to give you the details. Okay, let's see here. Let's give her some, this neck thing. I'm trying to decide, you know what? I'm just going to insert a cylinder. Just going to cheat. Thanks, Neil. There's my email on Twitter, or Twitch. Where am I again? Okay, so cylinder. Let's just drag out a cylinder here. Split unmasked points. Oh, that's not the one I wanted. This one. There we go. You guys remember Abracadabra by the Steve Miller Band? Yeah, it's good. I haven't heard it for a while. I'm listening to that right now. It's so weird. I don't know if that would fly today. I want to reach out and grab you. Anyway, I'm teaching at a university now, local university called the University of Utah Valley University. It's been a lot of fun. It's such a different experience teaching live rather than doing it online, but it's been good because I can kind of see where people struggle. Like I'm physically there and I can watch them work. So it's been quite interesting. Okay. Let's fill it with this color. Okay, so that's easy enough. I want to cut it into squares. So hey Roger, what do I teach in university? Same thing. I teach how to sculpt stylized characters in ZBrush. Okay, I'm just going to insert some. So if you didn't know, if you hold down Shift while you're dragging, it will align itself to the opposite. So when you insert an edge like this, it's going to average out between this side and this side. But if you hold down Shift, it's going to snap it and align itself to the closest edge. There we go. So now when I subdivide it, it's going to subdivide more evenly. What do you use to draw with? Well, I'm sculpting, not drawing, and I use a Wacom tablet with a Wacom pen. It's a 27-inch Wacom from several years ago. Okay, I'm going to add a couple of real subdivision levels and then delete them. So, because I want to get it higher resolution. Well, you know what? I'm not going to do that. 1, 2. I'm just going to apply this. And then subdivide it up to 2.35 million, just because I want to get this color in here. There we go. All right. But that being said, just you can use any tablet you want to. You don't need to have a screen like a Cintiq in order to create good work. I spent the first 15 years of my career just using a regular tablet, not a Cintiq. So a Cintiq will not make you a better artist. It will just speed up your workflow. Because it's a one-to-one, you know, what you're drawing on is one-to-one, so there's no disconnect, there's no offset. With a tablet, there's an offset. Okay. Started with a Wacom into a small, you know, I had a large one, you know, the big one, and it's too much. It's too much real estate, you know. You're like swinging your arm clear around, and it's just too much. So my favorite is the medium size. It's like the Goldilocks size, medium. I like that one the best. Okay, I'm gonna swing this camera up until it's kind of even-ish. Okay. Drag this down a little bit. And then I'm going to use masking, I think. So see how it's kind of asymmetrical? I'm going to go from left to right. So the lasso has a straight edge on it, and I use it all the time. You can see that. So let's do this. And then maybe this. And just see what we get here. Let's just fill that. So it kind of swoops and goes up like that. That works. Have you tried sculpting in VR? Yes, I have, Roger. I have. I've used. There's like 3 programs. There's Medium, I think. Is that the name of the original one? And then now there's Substance Modeler. That's okay. Yeah, it's pretty fun. I like standing in the same room as your sculpt. You know, that's kind of it's a really interesting thing to just stand there with your sculpt. And it's crazy because you can scale it. So you're standing there, you can scale it up the size of a giant sculpt that you're standing in front of, or you can scale it down to like a D&D miniature figure size, which is pretty interesting. Okay, let's make these earrings. How do I want to do the earrings? Let's do... Okay, I got to think about it. Because I kind of want them to be like scooped a little bit. We tried Gravity Sketch. I've tried it in VR, but not on my iPad. Yeah, Neon, I agree with you. The thing with, I'll just tell you right now, and since this is you're watching the official Maxon ZBrush channel, so I don't like to talk about other software too much. But I'm going to call this out because this is why I like ZBrush better than a voxel sculpting program. Okay, voxels are like pixels that are 3D. If you think about Minecraft is like giant voxels, right? Those big cubes, that's a voxel. And there's other programs like Substance Modeler that use voxels that are very, very small. And it's weird because they already exist in space. You're just revealing them. Okay? But what's fun about it is it's very fast and it's very light on the like on the CPU or whatever. So it's, oh goodness, it's good and bad. So the good part about it is it's fast and you can, you know, really get some pieces and parts in there very quickly. The bad part about it is that it's squishy. It's like you can literally fall through your sculpt and make a big mess, you know, or accidentally cut right through it. And it makes it difficult. It doesn't make it impossible, it just makes it difficult. So then you end up struggling. Hey Iron, how do you sculpt so clean? Well, I kind of work methodically and I try and keep my resolution low. Yeah. Yeah, Neil. It does. It sounds like when you're first using is it called Medium? It just sounds like it even has a shaving cream sound. It kind of goes when you're like using it. And it's like sculpting with shaving cream. It doesn't feel like this. Okay, I'm going to stitch this ear to this head really quick. Let's turn off symmetry, center it, reset it. I'm going to put it to the world. And then okay. Now we can do a stitch on this. Oh, come on. Gosh. What did I do? Okay. Slowly. Remesh by union. There we go. Hopefully I'm on the right. Yeah, there we go. And accept it. Okay, now I can blend the ears to the head. In the future, we'll have some haptic gloves to... Yeah, you know, one of my students has been testing some haptic gloves, and you're right, it's cool, but it's not quite there yet, you know? It's getting there, but it's not quite there. Okay, this feels like it's got a different color on it, does it? No. Okay. My favorite, hey, what's up, Krista? How are you doing? See how I have this like valley here now? I love this fill brush. This fill brush started as an SK brush. Got to give a big shout out to SK. Most of these brushes I didn't create from scratch. I usually started from a brush that existed and then tweaked it to my favorite settings. But it does this really nice fill. It's like a clay buildup brush that's very smooth and slow. And it allows me to fill up these pockets. You can kind of see it slowly filling in there. And you can also use the subtract of it. So if you hold the Alt down, it will scrape it instead of fill it. And a lot of people don't really know that. And I use it all the time. Just kind of fill in this little pocket back here. Not that you see it because it's underneath that wrap. But, and like right here, this hole goes too far down her earlobe. And so I want to fill in this lobe part. And then see, I can scrape on the inside and fill on the outside. And you can also use it to kind of flatten a little bit. So you can build up like this, flatten it, smooth it, twist it, pull it. There we go, that's better. That looks more earish. Go brush mine away. Most used hotkeyed brushes, awesome. Yeah, Remesh by Union is fabulous. It's my favoriteest thing. It actually, it made me not use Dynamesh anymore. I hardly use Dynamesh. I just use Sculptris Pro and Remesh by Union now. Okay, I'm gonna bring her ear forward. Just to sneak it out enough where you can see it kind of peeking, kind of like this is. Crack spackle, no kidding. I see the model have high poly count, but it doesn't get pixelated and blurry when you turn it around. Because it's Sculptris Pro, it's dynamic topology, which Sculptris Pro you can find here. I don't know in the default interface. This is my own interface. But Sculptris Pro it's dynamic. So what that means, and it doesn't have subdivisions. So what you're talking about is a low resolution mesh that has subdivisions, and then when you rotate it, you'll see it well, you can't really see it in this neck piece, but as I rotate it, it goes low and kind of blurry. But this head is not subdivided. It's Sculptris Pro. So that's why. Okay, let's see. Did I miss any questions? Let me know. Nightbot's busy today. And another thing is I will be at the ZBrush Summit this year, like physically there. So if any of you are going to be there, I'd love to meet you. Happening soon. The end of this month. I'm excited to see all my friends again I haven't seen for a long time. I understand the use of Remesh by Union, but still have as many polys as Dynameshing. So what do you mean? So You shouldn't. The only thing Remesh by Union does is it stitches the objects together. It doesn't rebuild your entire mesh. So here, let me save this and I'll just show you a quick demo so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay. Okay, so if I go to this star, let's append a couple spheres together. Okay. A cup. Yeah, that's actually the reason I picked this, is I really want to get that illustration, or that expression. Okay, so we have these two meshes. Here, let's do a not so obnoxious color. Okay. So we have these two meshes, and you can see right here what the geometry looks like, okay? Now I'm going to duplicate this a couple times and then hide the other ones, and we'll just look at this one, okay? So if you have two meshes that look like this and you want to stitch them together, all you have to do is stitch them, okay? So use Remesh by Union. Typically you would use Dynamesh back before Remesh by Union existed, okay? And what that does is if you go down to geometry, Dynamesh right here, okay, and then I'm just going to use the defaults, and I hit Dynamesh. You can see it. Here's something else showing. Oh, I'm on this last one. Okay. You can see what it does. It rebuilds your entire object and stitches it together and gets rid of the internal geometry. Okay. It does keep some of the facets, but you can smooth it down. So let's get a really big brush and smooth it on down. And this is how I used to join objects together, okay? But the problem is when you Dynamesh, if you have any sort of detail like this, and then you Dynamesh again, sometimes that detail gets stomped, it gets run over. Or let's see, let me do a pinch. That's probably better. Okay, so I have this pinch, right? And then I'm going to Dynamesh, and it kind of just goes away. So if I have a pinch, let's see, let me pull it out maybe so you can see the peak. See that peak right there? And then if I Dynamesh, it just kind of, it goes away a little bit. I have enough resolution that it's actually holding on to it, so it's not a very good example, but it will rebuild your entire mesh. Okay, so now let's look at this again. I can keep it this low resolution like this, and I can just stitch it the way it is right now. You just center your gizmo into the center of the object. You go to this gear and click on Remesh by Union. Now I want you to see the before and the after, okay? Here, let's add a subdivision level, maybe 2, okay? And then we'll get rid of the lower subdivision levels. Okay, so now it's really clean and smooth, and it has this nice hard edge in between them, okay? If I was to Dynamesh, it would get rid of that hard edge in the middle and make it smooth, okay? But if I do this, Remesh by Union, it looks exactly the same as it did before. I'm going to hit accept. The only difference is where the line connects, it stitches it together. See that stitch? It adds some little tiny triangles and stitches it. But it keeps that really sharp edge. See how sharp that is? And now I can come in with my smooth brush and smooth it out because it's connected. And that works too, you know. But if I want to get rid of and smooth this out more, what I can do is go to Sculptris Pro. That's a little too high. Let's go. There we go. And this is dynamic topology. Sculptris Pro is dynamic, okay? So I can just come across here and just smooth this out, and it'll rebuild that surface and make it smooth. So if you look at my lady here, where'd she go? No. Yes. Okay. So like around her nose, see this tight edge right here? This was a piece. If you watch my live stream from last week, this piece when I stitched it together, I didn't run my Sculptris Pro across there. I just smoothed up here and then down in here, and it smoothed it out. But it kept those hard edges, whereas Dynamesh would destroy it. Does that make sense? Yeah, she does have a lot of polys, Jack. So because I'm using Sculptris Pro, this is Sculptris Pro. What that means is it's basically dynamic topology, and it only adds geometry in the areas where I want the geometry to be. I'm not subdividing. Do not subdivide. Do not use dynamic subdivision. It's just dynamic surface topology. So you can see when it's adjusting the topology. So I can raise it and lower it depending on if I need more geometry in that area or not. Okay. So for example, if you look at the back of her head, like down her neck, if I wanted less geometry here, I can just smooth it and make less geometry because it's dynamic. So if I don't have symmetry turned on. And I do not use adaptive size. I turn it off so it's tied to the scene size rather than the brush size. Okay, so if you go to stroke and you go to Sculptris Pro, adaptive size is turned off. Okay. So then it's tied to the scene, not the brush. So that way I can come in here and just lower my resolution if I want to. Here, let's just put everything in one poly group so it's not distracting. Because I don't need all this. I don't need all this resolution here because there's no detail, right? So I can just kind of smooth all this out and lower the density on my geometry. But I can keep it high where I need to, like around the lips and the nose. If she had eyelashes or whatever, or eyelids, then I can do that up there. And that's just this slider, you know. Yeah. So you just kind of have to pay attention to the wireframe, what it's doing underneath. Looks like I accidentally painted that. There we go. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense. Do you have any custom configurations to your ZBrush install? Maybe move the cache to a different drive. No, I have not. I just use what the defaults. The only thing I do is I install my custom menu, which you can get for free if you want at 3dcharacterworkshop.com. I give it away for free. You can find it over there. And it also comes with my brushes and my ruler file. I use this ruler all the time for doing 3D prints and things like that. Hey, what's up, Sammy? How are you doing? So yeah, you can get that over there. I install my custom user interface, and it comes with a menu. It comes with this custom menu, which is basically the most used things that out of the tool menu, because the tool menu can get very, very long, and you're digging down here for a lot of stuff. And I just wanted to make shortcuts, easy access to that stuff, and that's when I put it into this menu. And I gave them little headers so you can find where they are in this menu for real. And also, if you hold down Control and you hover over these things, it'll give you kind of a little blurb of what it does. And if you'll notice at the very bottom of this window that pops up, it says button path. So it'll tell you where it is. Okay, it's under Tool, Morph, Store Target. So I made these little headers so you can kind of tell where it is. It's under Tool, Morph. That's where you find this. Or Tool, Subtool. That's where you find these. So then what you can do is you can set that menu hotkey to the number 2 on your keyboard, not your numpad, but your keyboard. I don't set it to number 1 because number 1 is repeat last function, and I use that all the time. So I assign it to number 2, and then under my Wacom pen settings, I assign number 2 to my back pen button right here. So then, wherever I'm at on my screen, I can just push that button and the menu pops up underneath my pen. So then it's very fast access. Okay. So there you go. Yep, and you can customize it however you want. You can learn how to make your own. I actually have a YouTube video up on my YouTube channel that shows you how to make your own custom user interface and your own custom menu. So if you're interested in doing that, you can go check out 3D Character Workshop on YouTube and watch those videos and learn how to do that. Okay, there's your demo. Back to it. Okay, I got to make these earrings. And I want them kind of, like I said, a kind of a scoop, so they're not just flat. So I got to figure out how to do that. I'm going to turn Sculptris Pro off for a minute, and then I'm going to insert a sphere here, a skin-colored sphere. Let's make it gold, and I'm going to split unmask points, arrow down, make sure I have these selected. And let's fill it with this gold color. So Neil, I found out that quick startup does not work on 2023 with the Maxon install. So I hope they update that soon. It does work on 2022, but it doesn't work on 2023. And what I'm talking about is, again, if you go look at my YouTube channel, I talk about a quick start plugin that's available through the ZBrush website. It's official, but it's just not updated yet. I need to ask them if they can get that updated. Okay, because I use it all the time. Okay, so I can't remember if I can do, I'm trying to think what I want to do. I think I might do a mask extract, but I don't like to do that. Let's do, okay, I'm gonna turn symmetry off and then hide this side. Whoops, not that. Delete it. And then delete this. Okay, so now I have kind of this shape that's kind of curved. I think I might go a little bit further into here. Okay, and then I can get rid of these two. So I'm going to use my lasso and just hide these. Delete them. Okay, so here's our base, and they're kind of narrow on the top and wider at the bottom. So just kind of move this so it's skinnier at the top, kind of fatter at the bottom. Okay. Just check my 2023, it was working. Oh, I wonder. Oh, it's just the Mac. Okay. Yeah, because I was trying to get the students in my college course to install it, and they said it wasn't working. So maybe it is just the Mac. I got to try it. Control Shift to delete an edge loop. Yes, yes. Except for you have to be on select lasso, not select rectangle. So select lasso, and then you hold Control plus Shift, and then you have to click on an edge. And that will hide it like that. I'm actually going to keep it that way. And then you have to delete hidden to get it to go away for good. Because right now it's just hidden. Let's do an autosave. So delete hidden. Okay, so now we have our single-sided earring that's like a scoop. Okay. What's your preferred method to make holes? I'm about to show you. I usually, yep, the Boolean. Nope, the live Boolean is the best way because it's non-destructive. So I'm going to make this hole in here. And I'm basically going to get a cylinder, insert it, snap it so it's straight, and then move it down here, split it to another subtool. So we have our original. And I'm going to set, if I'm going to Boolean something, I like to put it in folders. So I hit Control F to make a folder and call it Boolean. Okay. And then I'm going to put this cutter into that folder. So we have the original and then the cut. And then I'm going to switch this cutter to subtraction. That's this little button right here. And then I can turn on live Boolean, which is up here, top left. Okay, I don't know why they both disappeared. Oh, I got to show it. Okay. And then take this cylinder, dynamically subdivide it, and then push it through. Boink, just like that. And what it's really doing, you can see it. It's a cylinder like this. And then what I can do with the earring itself is I can subdivide it with thickness. So I can give it some thickness right here. Right there. Too much. Okay. Okay. So now we kind of have it this shape. And these holes on this earring are not quite perfect. So I'm going to go get that. Make sure I have the cylinder selected. And it's live Boolean, which is amazing because you can change it. So I'm actually affecting that cylinder. And I'm moving it so it's longer, and then I'm going to scale it down a little bit. So it's kind of elongated. Let's see. What's your preferred method to make whole? Okay. Yeah, there you go. Poly model if you want the extra challenge. Yeah, dude, I haven't poly modeled for so long. I did it for 15 years when I was first doing my game career, and then once ZBrush came out, it's like I never looked back. Okay, so where did that go? You got to make sure these eyeballs stay on, otherwise it disappears. Okay. Okay, they kind of have a point to them. So I want to kind of bring it down to a point on each side, or it scoops down like that. Okay. Okay, I'm going to keep that. So now when you have it how, like you want it, I can even make this a little bit thinner. I don't like to go too thin in case I ever want to 3D print something. So I'll usually go thicker than like a single line that's drawn here. Okay, so that's probably pretty good. Let's see, I kind of warped it from this angle. So let's grab this move infinite and clean that up. Okay. Kind of want to bow it a little bit out more. Okay. Now, when you're done, if you like it, you want to keep it, and you want to make it real, because this is still just a single-sided surface with a cylinder jammed in it. What you can do is go to this gear, and then click on this Boolean with subdivs, or dynamic subdivs, because that's what I'm using with both of those pieces. If I click on that, it's going to make a new object right here that is a combination of, it basically like does the Boolean function, and then it gives you a new object. And it also hides the folder because you're kind of done with it. So you can collapse it and then just look at the final result, and it looks like this. Okay, here, let's solo that. It's very dense. So what we can do is ZRemesh it. Okay, using keep groups. So let's click on keep groups. Let's do detect edges, keep creases, and then ZRemesh that. I'm going to do it at 3000 is what that is. Okay. I do not save as a project file. Project files, the only time I ever save a project file is if I need to keep the history of it. Otherwise, I save it as a Z tool because Z tools or Z projects can get very, very bloated and very large because they save everything. The only time I use a Z project is for my ruler file. So these are Z projects actually right here. And since they save everything, I actually made my ruler file into a Z project and it saves all my favorite settings. So whenever I open up ZBrush, I start with my ruler Z project file, and then I load Z tools into that, if that makes sense. That way I know all my settings are good. Let's see, what does the move infinite brush do? It basically moves everything all the way through. It like shoots it through like a flashlight all the way through. So for example, if I were to just use the regular move brush on this edge, you can see it only moves this side like that. But if I use move infinite, it moves everything behind that brush like that. Okay. Man, this is kind of garbage on the interior here. I think because it got too thin, it's trying to pack those faces down in there. Let's see what happens if I loosen that up a little bit. So I'm just going to turn my smooth brush way down and just kind of smooth it out a little bit up top here. My students send me a 2 gig project file for feedback. Well, the Z tool was only 52 megs. There you go. Thanks, Sammy. Yep, that's the exact reason why. Okay, I'm just going to kind of run my smooth. Wow, it's breaking it down here. So maybe not. Okay, let's try it again. Sometimes the ZRemesher, when you get funky shaped objects like this, it's not always the best. So I can click on same. I'm going to turn these off and just keep groups and see what happens. I'm going to turn my smooth groups down to like 0.5. Then try it again. Okay, that's looking better. It's still having some issues, but way better than it was. Another thing we can do is utilize mirroring. So let's see, where is that at? You can use the stager. Is it under here? Stager, where are you? I can't ever remember if it's a separate thing or if it might be under subtool. Where are you, stager? Why can't I find it? All right, where is it at, you guys? There it is, stager. Okay, it's under geometry. Okay, so I'm going to click on the first. This is going to be, it doesn't really matter, target stage, home stage. It's just like saving a state that it's in. So I'm going to save this as target, and then I'm going to move it. Here, let's turn on the floor. It's actually pretty close to the floor, but I'm going to send it home. Well, let's see. I'm going to center it, then send it home, then snap it to the front. Like this. And then set up home stage, like that. Okay, so that's like bookmarking it. So then I can switch stage. See, it goes from there to there, from there to there. Okay, now I can take advantage of symmetry now that it's here, because I can do a mirror weld across the center, and now I get it mirrored. Now that it's mirrored, I can turn on symmetry across the x-axis and then ZRemesh it again. Okay, and then it does the ZRemesher mirrored, which is nice. And you can do stuff like that and still switch stage and it'll go back over here, which is super nice. What's your thoughts about AI going to 3D models and meta denying artists to opt out of scraping data for their... Roger, I don't know. I don't really... It's difficult for me to have an opinion on that because I just don't know what the future is going to look like with that stuff. Yeah, I just don't know. From my experience so far, it makes some very interesting images, but they kind of end up being like samey, like same-ish. They are all, you can tell an AI image currently, even though they're super duper nice. But it's like they have a look and feel to them, you know? And then you can't art direct them. You can't say, oh, I like everything except for that thing. Can you do this with it? The only thing you can do is like lasso that area and say, regenerate this. And it's still, you can't art direct it. It's like a, you can use what it gives you, and then you can start with that as like a jumping off platform, and then like if you're going to use it as a concept or something like that. But yeah, it's not quite there. And I don't know if it ever will be, especially with 3D, there's way less 3D models out there than there is like images and art and stuff like that. So as far as the 3D stuff, there's not much to scrape other than like from Sketchfab or something like that, you know, or like the Marmoset model viewers and things. And even then, it's not quite, I just don't see it happening. And then the only thing I can see happening is maybe generating a point cloud from an image. And even then, I don't know. I'm not too concerned about it at this moment in time, but you know, I'll believe it when I see it, or I'll make up my mind when I see it, I guess. Okay, so I'm going to duplicate this because I want to keep the stager as this one. And now this is a new one. And then I'm going to mirror this. So mirror, and then mirror and weld. Make sure local symmetry is turned off. There we go. Hide the original. Now we've got earrings. That's kind of, I wonder what happens if I do half on this. Okay, that's better. Yeah, it's not bad. All right. Hey Prashan, how are you? And subdivide it, maybe smooth it just a little bit through here. Just a little lumpy. Stephane, how are you? Nice to see you live. Hope life's good on your side. It is, thank you very much. No complaints at the moment. I did just get over COVID though. That wasn't that fun. But luckily for me, it wasn't more than just a bit of flu symptoms, so my daughter and I got it. I can turn live Boolean off now. Okay. So now we've made these earrings and they have a scoop shape to them, and there you go. Yeah, COVID is still a thing in the US apparently. So that's fun. Okay, so now I need to make this kind of hook thing that connects to this little earring thing. Are you on a project right now or working for a studio? Nope, neither. I teach for a living. I teach the 3D character workshop, and I have for the last going on more than 5 years now. So, which reminds me to tell you about it. So I teach a 3D character workshop online class. There's over 2,000 students in there. And yeah, so if you're interested in learning how to create characters like this, it's a good opportunity to join us. And I'm also starting the acceleration program back up again, which is essentially mentoring, weekly mentoring, where you can get live feedback every week. If you're interested in that, you can send me an email to shane.olson@3dcharacterworkshop.com. I'll be happy to give you the information. Okay, I'm gonna, whoops, not that. And let me know if you have any questions about it. I can answer your questions about it here. Okay. So let's do a cube. And a lot of my students are in here, so you can ask them, not just take it from me. Yeah, I'm always looking for more students. Okay. So I'm going to split this off. Then we're going to round it out and do some things. So here we go. I figured he didn't use project, but was wondering how he saved his app setting, but I understand. What are you talking about? What did I miss? But I do have some prospects that I'm working on right now where I might help some studios out. Sometimes I do. Okay, I'm just gonna stick that in there. So one trick that you can do, if you need to get a line in the absolute center when you're inserting a line, if you hover over the edge and push spacebar with the Z modeler brush selected, and if you only have single edge loop, there's no way to really find the center. You can't really find it. So it's easier just to do multiple edge loops, but just click it and it'll put it right in the middle. That's how you get it centered. Let's see. I've been a member of the character workshop since the beginning. Yay! I just decided to purpose Marmoset Toolbag 4. Nice. Been using Keyshot with the ZBrush bridge for a long time. Just do quick renders. Do you have any recommendations for workflows or processes to go from ZBrush to Marmoset? Do you use it for texturing or do you use Substance? Well, again, this is the official Maxon live streaming channel, so I really don't like to spend too much time talking about other software that's not owned by Maxon. But I'll just give you kind of a high answer to that. You can also ask this in the 3D Character Workshop Discord channel. Be happy to go into further detail, but Marmoset has added more texturing stuff. So I personally haven't dug into it. I know Substance Painter is kind of the industry standard, the industry default. So it's good to learn that. And Marmoset is great for real-time rendering and baking maps. But since then, since I taught it in my course, Substance has upgraded their baking algorithm. They still don't have envelope adjustment like Marmoset does, to my knowledge. I don't think they've added that yet. So that's what makes Marmoset so good at baking maps, is that you can go in there and adjust the baking envelopes in case you're having some baking issues, and it's really, really nice. That's why I like it the most. And that has been industry standard for baking maps for quite a while. I know Blizzard uses it. But they may have changed since Substance updated their baking algorithms, but I'm not quite sure. Okay, so for this, let's see, just wanting to round these out. I'm basically making this loop, and then what I can do is group by normals, which will group this whole thing. Anything past 45 degrees, it's going to give it its own poly group. And then I can hide this. Here, let's turn on double so we can actually see what's happening here. Hide this side. And now we have a band. And then we can delete hidden. Turn on dynamic subdivisions, and there's our band. And then we can increase our thickness. Too much. Some people prefer to bake on substance. If anything, they just make their own cages. Yeah, it's just an extra step you got to do, but it's totally possible. Hey, Tattoon, how are you? Welcome, welcome. How do you eliminate edges? Miriam, what are you specifically wanting to do? The easiest way is to use ZModeler. So, for example, with this piece, I have some edges. Let's say I wanted to get rid of this center edge right here. You just use ZModeler, hover over an edge, and by default, insert edge is your main tool. But as you can see, it says if you hold down Alt, it will delete edge loops. So you can just hold down Alt and click on it, and it will get rid of it. Does that make sense? Hopefully. Okay, but what I want to do is I want to slide this edge. So I'm going to go hover over this edge, hit spacebar, and there's this tool called Slide, and I want to slide the entire edge loop. So I'm going to click Edge Loop Complete. Actually, I want to bevel it. Let's do bevel instead, because I want to split it instead of slide it. So let's do bevel. Again, Edge Loop Complete. I can click on this edge and slide it down to the edges. It's not quite doing what I want it to do. Let's undo that and try it one more time, maybe zoomed out a little bit. Okay, I guess that's as good as I'm going to get. Okay, instead, you know what? I am going to slide it because it's not doing what I want it to do. So I'm just going to slide this edge over to here, like that. And then I'm going to use insert mesh, or insert single edge loop, and then get it close to this side. So now when I hit subdivide, it's going to be sharper. Okay. There we go. Now let's adjust the size. Okay, I want to scale it this direction. Well, I want to scale just the base of it. A little bit more. Okay. Hey, Muddy out there, welcome. Would it have been better if you started from scratch? Been better if what? Would what have been better if I started from scratch? I don't understand the question, sorry. Need to add a little bit more thickness to this. That's what's so good about dynamic subdivision is I can adjust the thickness anytime I want to make it match better. Use bevel, maybe if it's high poly, use I guess if she's, I was showing how to delete edges, like physical poly edges. So I'm not quite sure what you're after there. Okay. Oops, that's not what I want to do. I just want to squish this down a little bit. Okay. I'm happy with that. That works. And then we can fill it with this golden color and fill this with that color. There we go. Okay. Let's see. Modeler tends to crash a lot whenever I use it. Yeah, I'm not sure why either. I'd have to see what your model looks like in order to give you good feedback on it. Is there a method to automate the process so that when I cut a subtool, it automatically splits into two subtools and fills the protruding area? No, so here, let's go back to my little example of these little things here. Okay, so say if I have two poly groups like this, and you're wanting to split these off and then fill the hole, it's kind of a 2-point process, but basically what you can do is do split groups. So it's called group split, and that will make two poly groups, but it'll have an open hole like this, and then you just say close holes, and then it'll close it up like that. Then you have to go to the other one that has an open hole and do the same thing, close holes. So there's not an automated process that does both. And then what I would do at this point is I would ZRemesh it with groups. Like let's go to 2 ZRemesh, and then it will ZRemesh this and clean this up because it's kind of a dense mesh. So it's cooking it right now. And then it'll clean that up and you can subdivide it and make it clean. Like this. Tried to hold on to my cuts there. So then you can half it. Like half, ZRemesh it again. Make it lower. See, then it cleans it right up. It looks nice. You can even half it again. Just get it really low. And then subdivide it. Control D. 1, 2, 3. And there you go. Nice clean mesh. Is that what you're looking for? Dynameshing with groups turned on, you automatically close the holes of the two pieces. Right, right. So you can either do it. Yeah, you can either do it one way or the other. Yeah, yeah. Those sides of cheeks, I have a hard time doing. Yeah, Rashu. Yeah, this is since this is the Maxon official website, we just talk about Maxon products here. At least we try. Okay, let's continue here. Got that. Let's work on the teeth, shall we? Okay, so we have uppers and lowers. I'm actually going to group split these. So then we just have one in each subtool. And then I'm going to hit save as and save this. That's 3. Okay, so this is a really, really low piece of geometry. There's no way I can make these teeth with this. There's 2 ways I can do it. I can either insert the teeth and make them, single teeth, or I can try and sculpt in and make them like a solid piece that has some sculpted edges. Either way works. I think I'm going to do the second method though. What's my favorite thing to sculpt? Stylized characters. Okay. And the better design, the more I like the challenge of it, I guess. Okay. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to align this gizmo, kind of drag it down, hit Control W to put this, let's do it again, to put this first one in its own subtool, and then I'm going to flood fill both of these objects with dynamic symmetry, which is essentially, it's kind of like doing a Dynamesh in a way, but it will not stitch things together. So if I were to Dynamesh both of these right now, they would get crunched together and stitched. But if I do this polygon size and I just move it to the left a little bit, actually I need to get rid of these creases, uncrease all. Let's go ahead and subdivide it a couple times. And then you'll see what I'm doing here in a second. I'll delete the lower. So now we have these two. That's actually a pretty good density as it is, so I don't know that I really need to do the polygon size, but okay. So basically the blue is going to be the gums and the green is going to be the teeth. Okay. Let's see what I want to do. I think I want a knife. Dog fan. Ew, it sounds like they're walking that back. They sent out an official apology. Okay, I'm gonna use this knife brush. We're gonna try the knife curve, and we're just gonna cut the back off both of these. Okay. You know what? I'm gonna roll this back. Speaking of roll back, I'm gonna get rid of this lower one for a second. I want to make this like a horseshoe shape, and then I'll duplicate it. Okay, so let's go like this. Snip off the back. That's better. Delete hidden. It's already deleted. Okay, and then just kind of move it up and align it, and then BK. I want the circle. Drag out the circle. And just kind of want to get this close. And then slice that. Okay, now we got our horseshoe shape, and it's a little thick. Let's make it thinner. Now what we can do is flood fill this thing. Let's put them all in the same poly group. Just kind of flood fill it with this dynamic topology to get it to the density that we want to work with it. Make sure our symmetry is turned on, and we can start to smooth it down. Let's go higher intensity. Okay. Okay. So again, this is dynamic topology. This is the way I like to work now. It's just like, I just like to get material there that I can work with. It's kind of like rolling up some clay and just sticking it out there so I can start to work with it, right? It's not being subdivided. It's not being dynamically subdivided. It's just Sculptris Pro geometry. It's just dynamic topology. I'm not caring about the flow of it. I'm just caring that there's enough little squares there that I can work with, okay? Because when we were working with it, well, when I first started, it was way too low. I couldn't make gums or teeth or anything like that with it. So I need it to be dense enough. And then I can duplicate it off like this. And basically I can hit Control W, and whatever is masked off, it's going to put it in a new poly group. Okay, so now I have the gums and I have the teeth. We can hide the teeth for a second. And then I can just start digging the gum sockets, the teeth sockets in there by using move, and just kind of making this a little thinner. Not so thick. It'll be thick back here where the molars are, but where the front teeth are, it's rather thin. And I can just start pushing up sockets where those teeth will go. Leonard. Oh my gosh, Leonard. I did not respond. I apologize. This week has been nuts. How have you been? Are you going to be around today, like this afternoon maybe? I have until 4 when I go to my class. Okay. So sorry about that, Leonard. I apologize. How have you been? Okay, that's pretty good. Be a little lower. Always cleaning. I need to take a page out of your book. My office is a mess. Okay, so now we have our gum sockets. Let's unhide the T side of things. And we can mask this off. Use the move brush. Do the same thing, just kind of and push them up into the gums here. I'm not sure if this is going to work or if I should do singular teeth or not, but we're going to try it. Here we go. Basically, we're going to get this detailed brush, just kind of cut. Because I'm looking for the silhouette mainly between the two front teeth here. Finally finish my... Oh, nice. How did it turn out? Let's go a little more dense on this. Don't want a huge gap in between those teeth. Okay, and then what we can do is use inflate to just kind of, I'm going to turn Sculptris Pro off for a second. We can just kind of inflate them closed. So it gives a nice crease between them. So they look like they're separate, but they're not. Didn't mean to make a little bump down here. Okay. Then the smaller ones. Fairly well, doing real paint is so much harder. You know, I ran an airbrushing business back in the late or in the 90s. And I still have all my gear. And I'm like, I should break that out and paint my stuff with it. I still have a lot of my paints and everything still. I used to paint like, you know, the typical 80s airbrushing stuff like leather jackets and motorcycle tanks. I haven't done it since the 90s. And I found an airbrush that's like cordless. I found it on Amazon. It's just this little, I've shown it on the stream before. It's just this little airbrush that has a battery pack on the bottom. And you can charge it with like a USB cable. It's so crazy. Okay, now let's do the canine thing here. All right, hands getting a little tired here. And we can adjust those gums to match. Kind of pull this down and in. See, it's just like sculpting real clay. You can just kind of push it around, get it to do your bidding. Do what you want. Looking like teeth. Used to paint all the time. Nice. Me too. And it's airbrushing. It just uses the same paint that painting miniatures uses. You just kind of water it down. And since it's acrylic, it is water based, so you literally water it down with water. I use these paints called Vallejo. They work really well. They're very nice and semi-opaque, so they cover well. You can get them at like Hobby Lobby or whatever. or Amazon. I just need to do it more. I've been meaning to paint the figurines behind me. And Tamiya, I have not used those. I just use the Vallejo paints. I think don't they say model color on them? Something like that. They're great. I like them a lot. Gone over to cheap acrylics from Michaels. Does Michaels have Vallejo paints? No, Hobby Lobby does, but I don't know about Michaels. I haven't been to a Michaels for quite some time. There aren't any around where I live anymore. There's a Hobby Lobby right down the street. Okay. I'm all feeling my teeth with my tongue. Like, how did they look again? Okay, they're too low here. Let's raise them up. Nice, nice. They're a little wide. Just kind of tilt them down a little bit so we can just barely see those gums peeking. Best Michael carries are Createx. Yep, I've used those. Yeah, those are pretty. They're thick on the pigments. Let's go dark on this. There we go. Oh, interesting, Neon. Okay, they sell it, but not in the stores. Interesting. You think they would stock it, right? Okay, when I get this expression, that's when we'll see more of these teeth. Kind of want to pull her mouth open just a little bit more right now, just to kind of see. This feels a little too gappy in the middle here. Again, we can just use our inflate brush to inflate those shut. They're a little lumpy. All right. So much harder to find a local good supply of paints. Oh, Liquitex. I love Liquitex, but do you get them in the tubes? That's like professional acrylics, right? Those are expensive, especially certain pigments. Is it still like orange is really expensive? Is that still a thing? Little sister shotgun. Listening to some Billy Idol. Not Billie Eilish, Billy Idol. The original Billy. Certain pigments are pricey, yeah. Depending on where they source them from, right? Okay, I'm gonna work on our like headdress thing. Saving it first. No, no eyes without a face in his white wedding. That's what I'm listening to now, is white wedding. Speaking of weddings, Leonard, listen to Billy Idol White Wedding while you're doing it, and you'll be fine. Okay, for this thing, I was thinking about like cutting it in. It's a good day. All right. First started at Disney, you just went to the warehouse and asked them for a full set of paints and brushes. Nice. Could you just hook me up, you guys? Sure, here you go. How would it be? Okay, since I knife cut this, I actually have 2 poly groups. You know, I think I'm gonna ZRemesh this. Why not? ZRemesh, keep groups, go. Okay. That's good because now it gives me an edge loop that we can work with. Right around that outside there. Maybe even 2. So in the Z modeler, you can hover over a face and do, it's called polygroup, and then polyloop. Polygroup, polyloop. There we go. Polygroup, polyloop. What that is, basically there's like this little, I don't know if you can see it, there's this little yellowish orange line, and that indicates the direction that you want to go. And you can just click it and it'll make a new polygroup all the way around. Well, thanks, Muddy, out there. Oh, a doke. Okay, nice. Okay, so now we have this edge. And I can hover over this face again and do an extrude polygroup all. And we can push this in like this. And that'll give us our lip on the edge to make it look like it has thickness or thinness, as the case may be. And then we can center this and scale it on down. Okay. Now, I want to smooth this down. I don't want to use Sculptris. Just to kind of give it a rounded edge to make it look like cloth. And the reason I'm keeping this capped and I'm not doing thickness all the way around the interior is because in case I want to 3D print this, it's best to have it capped. Now I can still see it back here. So I'm going to mask this off and just push it back in space a little bit more. And scale it down again. Notice I turn off symmetry when I hit this button. This is go to unmasked mesh center. But if you have symmetry turned on and you click that, it's going to center it in half because it's symmetrical. So you got to turn that off, click it, then it'll put it in the center. But make sure you turn that back on. And scale this down. There we go. Now it looks like a thin piece of cloth. And then we can adjust it so it looks like it's wrapping around. Whoops. That's pretty good. Oops. Move. If this bust was a commission for 3D printing, how much would you charge for it? I don't know. It depends on the usage and if it's going to be mass produced or if it's just going to be a single one-off or something like that. It depends on how long it takes me. Depends on if I'm going to support it, like do the supports on it or not. There's so many factors. So many. But yeah, I'm not really sure what I would charge for this. I usually do these live streams just for fun, so I usually pick something that I want to do personally. So I don't really think about like how I would monetize it. Okay, so now I'm gonna make some of these like cloth creases up in here. So I'm gonna solo it, use this. It's basically an orb crack brush, but I've adjusted some of the settings on it to my liking again. Go symmetry until we get around the back. Go. Be symmetrical. Just gonna pull that down a little bit. There we go. Okay, now this piece, I want to, I'm going to duplicate it. Just so I have the next portion up there. Turn off symmetry. And this piece is going to be like, let's see. Usually means they can't afford it. Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, I mean, it just completely guessing off. Yeah, completely guessing. Probably more than 500 bucks, I would say, depending on the time and the scope and all that stuff. But I really don't know. I'd have to think about it. Ooh, too much. Okay. I'm just kind of flood filling this to get some even topology. And then this piece, again, I just want to kind of squish it into place. Just kind of rough it out. I'm doing this piece right here. It kind of wraps up around itself. I'll probably do these cuts with the crack brush. The lower the density on the Sculptris, the faster it will smooth down, because it's averaging between the dots that make up the triangles. So yeah, something like this. Just keep it low. Don't mean to snap it weird. Okay. So that's this piece here. Then I'll make one more piece that's kind of lives over here. And that'll be this little chunk right there. And I can invert the mask. So see this, just this piece is masked. Then I can hit Control W and it puts it in its own poly group. That way I can select it. Okay, so let's start at the bottom and kind of work our way up. Just roughing this thing out. Let's hide these two. Let's see. Currently, do you think it's difficult to find modeling and texturing work without even having experience? I mean, not having experience, it's always a challenge, right? So at that point, you need to, it really helps to know people in the industry. And then the second thing is to have just a really kick butt portfolio, right? Like show people that you can do the work that they need you to do, and you'll have a much easier time getting the work. Okay, so I have a really, really big, this is called a carve brush. It's basically the orb crack brush. or crack 2, I think is where it started. Just gonna kind of cut through here. This a little smaller. And just kind of work out the folds. One thing I've found with making folds is to not be timid with them. Just like get a strong brush and just go for it, you know? And try to find opportunities to like zigzag across them. Like this. Like crisscross like that. That works. It's a little too even. I always tend to do that so much, is just to make it like this and this and this. It's too samey, you know? So I'm just going to kind of smooth this lower one out. Make it look a little bit more like this one. Let's see. Maybe if I push this one up into and make it become that might work. This one becomes that, and that becomes that. Okay. And just kind of work on the flow. You don't want to get too many warbles. And be careful with the smooth, because you don't want to smooth out your nice wrinkles too much. Now this is getting a little bit too low in geometry, so we can turn on our Sculptris and crank it up a little bit. It's like a little hat. Kind of is a hat. Okay, now I kind of want to bring one down from the bottom so it looks like it's folding under. Like this. Maybe something like that. See, and then you can go a little more high fidelity with them. I love this crack brush for this purpose. It works really well, and it works great for hair as well. It's funny, when I do these strokes, I like hold my breath. I find myself holding my breath. Hey, what's up, comics? How you doing, man? Looking forward to the ZBrush Summit? Yes. We have any merchant available for purchase? 3 Character Workshop t-shirt. Maybe I'll bring a couple. I'll have to dig them up. I have some buttons and some stickers. Do you have this setting called Combined in Sculptris Pro? Looks like it turns it off. I don't. I just use the default Sculptris Pro. Yeah, I have it on. I just turned adaptive size off. Where did you buy your brushes from? Are you talking about these brushes right here? These are ones I made, and you can get them for free over on my website. I give them away for free. So it's just 3D Character Workshop. See underneath me right here. 3dcharacterworkshop.com, and then you can just get them for free. Let me see really quick. I'll just show it to you. So my website looks like this. And that's bright. Okay. And then you can just grab them right here and right here. And I also have an online workshop right here. And then I have a membership and I do some coaching. So if you're interested in that stuff, you can go check it out. Okay. So now that let's go more dense on this one. Or it's probably too much. Thank you so much. Yep, you're welcome. Hey, what's up, Blanche? How are you doing? It's amazing and worth the workshop. Thank you so much for the kind words. I appreciate it. Whoops, that's too. I'm just destroying what I did. Okay, that's good. Get rid of these facets in here. Then I can even paint some of these stripes in here, which is kind of fun. So I can grab this red and just kind of, it's got symmetry turned on, but that's okay. Let's see, let me go smaller. It's probably too low, isn't it? There we go, something like that. Get it to curl around that edge there. Do you just set a default undivide ratio? I see you only have subdivide size. I don't mess around with the subdivide or the undivide ratio. That's more for smoothing. I don't really mess with that much. Well, at all. I just leave it. So yeah, it's at 1.25, just the default. Basically, by turning off adaptive size, it ties the density to the scene rather than the brush. And that way I can control it way better. And my brush can be any size and it will give me the same density across the surface. I couldn't work with it any other way, to be honest. I don't know why the default is tied to the brush. Because you can get into trouble with it that way really easily. Okay, and then I can grab this little white dot. There you go, something like that. That's fun. Just checking in and enjoying your sculpting while I code a little. Fun. Coding, that's something I've never done. Is that Look, Lori, how are you? Hey, I have eyes. Look, I have eyes. I've had them for a long time. It kind of looks like the Chiquita banana lady, doesn't it? Chiquita banana. Thanks, comics. I appreciate it very, very much. I'm listening to Love Shack and I can't help. I want to sing. But I'm not. I'll spare you. I'll spare you. I've done some karaoke with that in the past. Okay, I have to figure this out. Yeah, love Shack, baby. So let's get that fold going. Jukebox money. Right now it's hop in my Chrysler. It sits about 20. We can get together. My love shack, baby. It's funny because the dude that there's one guy, you know, and he just kind of talks. He doesn't really sing. He just like sings. Bang, bang, bang on the door, baby. Okay. Go. So you can do the same technique with these folds as I did with the teeth, where you can do a cut down here. My friend Mike Hoops taught me that. I need to reach out to Mike. Haven't heard from him for a while. On the door, baby. What a weird song. Love it. It's great. Okay, I gotta get that edge back. I lost it when I smoothed it. Go. All right, let's get this shape better. I'll hide this piece for a second. I'm listening to Prince. Can you picture? Let's go like this. It's too demanding. Maybe I'm just like my father too home. Sorry, I'm in the singing mood today, you guys. I apologize. Was inside. Okay. Sculpting melodies, yep. Sing along, here we go. I'm just like my mother. Poor Prince. Taken too early. Dude was always so health conscious too. Oh, I need to pull this up. Pull this in. This is kind of pinched weird in here. I don't really know. Just make it up. What type of material? It's just Skin Shade 4. I always use Skin Shade 4. The reason I use that is because I can see the color. It's the best that it's just white. So yeah, I can see, I can get a good idea what that color is going to look like when I bake the maps and whatnot. Okay. Yeah, I like it a lot. It's great. Okay, whenever I get like just messy topology like this, you have to kind of look at it and see why. And it looks like it's less dense in this little pocket right here. So basically all you got to do is hit it with the old Sculptris, even out the topology first, then you can kind of smooth it, fix the mess. Okay. I kind of messed this up right here. I'm going to redo it. So let's see. Okay, so then I can use this fill brush to just kind of, what'd you say, Mark? Crack spackle? Kind of fill this in. And then I can also use it to scrape. So I can come down here. See this peak right here? Just scrape it off. I think this is Bill Oakley, Electric Dreams. Oh, that's a good song. You can also use a pinch on a very low setting to kind of clean these up as well. Kind of pulls everything together. That way you can get your flow back and you just kind of clean up your warbles and things. You just have to be careful because it will pull the geometry together. So you have to have your brush small enough. Okay, I can keep working on this later on. For now, let me see. This is bugging me though. Just want to flatten out this so it's like a step rather than a crease in there. Okay. Just gonna make that go up like that. I want this to be wider down here and go, see how it's like wide to thin, wide to thin. So just kind of helps with the gravity. Yeah, you gotta mess with this side too. Okay. Let's work on this piece. That'll probably help a lot. What, the crack spackle? It's actually I think it's like a baby product. What in the world? Why is this not moving the way I expect it to? What's going on here? There it goes. Okay. Was not doing what I expected it to do. So see this end fold right here? Just trying to get that. Kind of tucking this up in there. Pull this down. Okay. Kind of fold this around. Zerchan, how are you? Any idea why the student subscription to Maxon is not working? Is it not? I do know why, but I didn't know that it affected everyone. So if you guys didn't know, when you purchase my course, the full bundle, the big bundle, even though my course is not in an accredited college course, Maxon was still kind enough to let me, or let my students qualify for the educational version of Maxon 1, which is the suite of products that includes everything Maxon has, including like Redshift and everything. So, yeah, when you buy it, you get a 6 months worth of that. I think at the time they offered it was like $10 for 6 months for everything, something like that. Anyway, recently their licensing system had a hiccup. It kind of went down. So I didn't know it broke everybody though. That sucks. Because some of the new people that have purchased, they've had to make a trial version first and then send me their info. Then I have to manually send it off to Maxon. So make sure you have the trial version and then email me your stuff. Alec, my art station is just Shane Olson. That is me. Thank you for asking. Let's see. And it's Olson is my last name. Here's my art station. I need, it's still the same old art station. I need to update it. Come on, load. There it goes. So here's my art station, my characters. Yeah, I have about 200 more that I can put up here. Anyway, yeah, I worked on Disney Infinity. I did a skin for Overwatch and some other stuff. So anyway, yeah, Shane Olson. Yeah, if your student version has stopped working, just send me an email. Oh, for any student, not just for the 3D character version. Okay. Yeah, that's why their licensing system is definitely having issues, at least for the educational stuff. So just know that they're working on it and it should be back up soon, but for now, it's not. So I apologize for that. Hopefully they'll get it going soon. Leonard, yeah, so I have, let's see, I'm going to be done at 2, and then I have to leave for school at 4, so I have a 2-hour window I could hop on. Yeah, that'd be great. So again, I'm just kind of inflating this closed. Is Maxon 1 only for 6 months or ongoing? Well, it's supposed to be for 6 months, but some students have been able to re-register. I don't, but officially it's 6 months. Yeah. Cup Creations. If I were to seek out one of your Disney Infinity figures, one that I made, which one do you recommend? Oh, there's so many good ones. Yeah, I'll do that, Leonard. I'll do that. I do need to eat some quick lunch, and then I'll send it to you. Are you on Discord, by the way, Leonard, or no? Okay, Disney Infinity. I would, let's see. One of my favorites is Boba Fett. Man, there's so many. I did like Olaf. I worked on Venom with someone else. Spider-Man. Yeah, there's a whole bunch. Probably Boba Fett is one of my favorites. That's why I have a big version of him back here. Behind my head, right there. Yeah, Discord's a little easier if you want to ping me over there. But I can send you my Discord user handle. Then it's just easy. You can it's so much easier just to reach out to me anytime and connect with me that way. You can show the sculptures done in real style. I don't know what that comment means, Alec. What do you mean? Do you want me to show them, or what are you asking? I see them in vintage toy shops sometimes. Nice. Yeah, I've looked to see like what some of them are worth, and it kind of blows me away. Some of them aren't worth anything, but other ones are. Yeah, they're still holding their value. I did Fantasia Mickey, and the one for the D23, it has silver stars in his hat. That one is worth a lot if you ever see it. Because I think the standard one has clear stars, or it's the other way around. I can't remember which one's which. Okay, I'm just going to quickly paint some red on here. Yeah, that one was fun to do. These are actually darker stripes in here. Let me grab a darker color. Oh, are you asking if I do realistic stuff? I can, but I usually don't. I typically just do stylized stuff. That's my jam. That's where I specialize. That's what I teach too. So if you're wanting to learn how to create stylized characters, 3dcharacterworkshop.com is a place to go. This one is kind of dark in here too. Are you Bob Ross style of art? Stylized, yeah. I've heard that before actually. I'm closer to Bob Ross than I can share, actually. I'm not related to him in any way, but. All right, Leonard, thank you so much, sir. All right, I'm going to wrap this up. But thanks everybody for hanging out with me today. I didn't get quite to the expression, but I'll make her expression and post it somewhere. I like how she's turning out. It's a little too big. I gotta still adjust this wrap on her head. All right, you guys. Yep. And as usual, like I said, you can get these brushes, my user interface, my ruler file, all for free. If you want, you can check it out at 3dcharacterworkshop.com, and you can learn ZBrush on the ZBrush classes that Nightbot has been posting. Also, again, I'm going to be at the ZBrush Summit coming up at the end of this month. There's also going to be a sculpt off. Check that out. I'm debating competing in it. I don't know if I will or not. We'll see. I'm going to be live there. So if you're going to be there and you see me there, come up and say hi. I'd love to meet you. So, all right, guys, take care, and we'll see you all next Monday. All right, have a great week, everybody. Take care. We'll see ya.